A wise person always hides three things about himself. Think about that for a moment. In a world obsessed with sharing every thought, every plan, every emotion, the real strength lies in quiet protection. A wise person doesn't speak loudly about what they feel, because they understand emotions are sacred. They don't reveal their struggles, because healing happens in silence, not in the spotlight. And they never announce their next move, because plans grow best when shielded from doubt, noise, and judgment. Those who walk with wisdom don't need attention to validate their worth. They choose silence, not out of fear, but out of power. Because some things, the most important things, deserve to be kept safe within the heart. True wisdom is silent power. It grows stronger when protected, not displayed. Wisdom is not something that needs applause, validation, or a spotlight to prove its worth. It lives quietly within a person, shaping their choices, guiding their reactions, and strengthening their character in ways that others may never fully see. When someone possesses true insight, they don't feel the need to prove it or announce it, because wisdom is not measured by how loudly it speaks, but by how deeply it is understood. The greatest minds in history were often the quietest ones, observing more than they spoke, learning more than they tried to teach, and understanding more than anyone realized. Silent wisdom becomes powerful because it cannot be manipulated, questioned, or interrupted by the noise of the world. When you keep your insights close, you allow them to mature naturally, without the influence of opinions or criticism from people who may not understand your perspective. It becomes a private source of strength, shaping your decisions with clarity and confidence. External noise fades, internal truth sharpens, and your mind becomes a space where clarity grows without disturbance. People who constantly display their knowledge often do so out of insecurity, needing recognition to feel confident. But a wise person knows that their power does not depend on others noticing it. They choose silence because silence protects their thoughts, their intentions, and their energy. It allows them to act without distraction and rise without unnecessary attention. Wisdom kept to oneself becomes a shield, quiet, strong, and unshakable. It guides actions more than words, decisions more than declarations. And when wisdom grows in silence, it transforms a person from the inside out, creating strength that others can feel even when they cannot see it. A wise person guards their emotions, knowing not everyone deserves access to their inner world. Emotions are powerful, and when shared with the wrong people, they can be misunderstood, misused, or even turned into weapons against the one who expressed them. Wisdom teaches that not every smile, tear, or fear needs to be explained, because understanding is a rare quality and trust is something earned slowly. A wise person knows that their emotional world is deeply personal, shaped by experiences, values, and vulnerabilities that not everyone is capable of handling with care. By choosing what to reveal and what to protect, they maintain control over their peace, their energy, and their mental clarity. Guarding emotions is not about being cold or distant, it is about being selective. It is the awareness that some people listen only to respond, not to understand, and some observe only to judge, not to empathize. A wise person protects their inner world from such individuals because they recognize that emotional safety is just as important as physical safety. When emotions are safeguarded, one's confidence grows, decisions become clearer, and relationships become more meaningful, built on authenticity rather than impulse. People who expose every feeling often drain themselves, giving others too much power over their mood and state of mind. A wise person avoids this by holding their emotions with intention, sharing them only with those who have proven to be trustworthy, compassionate, and genuine. In doing so, they prevent misunderstandings, protect their boundaries, and maintain a sense of inner balance. Their emotional world becomes a sanctuary, quiet, grounded, and unshaken by external chaos. Guarding emotions is not a sign of weakness, it is a form of emotional intelligence that keeps the heart safe and the mind strong. Personal struggles are hidden because strength is built privately, not publicly. Every person carries battles within themselves, fears, doubts, failures, and moments of uncertainty that are rarely visible to the outside world. A wise person understands that these struggles are not meant for public display, because true growth happens in silence, where judgment cannot reach and distractions cannot interfere. When you fight your battles privately, you create a protected space where you can process your emotions honestly, make mistakes without shame, and rise without the pressure of expectations. This private space becomes a personal training ground where resilience is shaped through patience, self-reflection, and perseverance. Public attention often distorts personal challenges. When struggles are exposed too widely, people may misinterpret them, offer unhelpful opinions, or reduce genuine pain to casual conversations. This can weaken the healing process, making a person more focused on how others perceive their journey instead of how they truly feel. By keeping struggles private, a person removes this external noise and gives themselves the freedom to grow at their own pace, without comparison or criticism. Strength built in the quiet moments becomes deeper and more authentic because it is formed through real effort rather than an attempt to prove something to others. People who grow publicly often face added pressure, but those who grow privately learn the art of endurance. They learn to trust themselves, to sit with their discomfort, and to rise without applause. Private struggles teach self-reliance, discipline, and emotional maturity. They turn pain into wisdom and setbacks into stepping stones. When the world finally sees the strength that emerges, it looks effortless, but it is the silent journey, the unseen battles, that shape that strength. Future plans remain secret, ensuring focus without interference or negativity. When you guard your future intentions, you protect the fragile beginning of your dreams. Plans are most vulnerable at the start, when they exist only in your mind, delicate, unformed, and easily shaken by doubt or outside opinions. Sharing them too early can expose them to criticism, jealousy, or discouragement from people who may not understand your vision. Keeping them private allows you to build quietly, without unnecessary pressure or the weight of expectations. It gives you the freedom to think clearly, to adapt your steps, and to stay committed to your path without worrying about how others will respond. Interference often comes disguised as advice or concern, but it can plant seeds of doubt that slow your progress. Even well-meaning people can unintentionally limit your thinking by projecting their fears or limitations onto your goals. A wise person recognizes this and chooses silence, allowing their plans to grow away from the noise. This silence becomes a powerful shield, helping them maintain focus, discipline, and mental clarity. When no one knows your plans, no one can disrupt them, question them, or influence them according to their own insecurities. Keeping plans private also prevents the illusion of progress. Talking about what you want to do can create a false sense of accomplishment, making it feel as though you've already taken action when you haven't. Silence keeps you hungry. It keeps you grounded in effort rather than talk. It transforms your goals into a personal mission, something you work on with dedication instead of broadcasting for validation. And when you finally achieve what you have been quietly building, the results speak far louder than any announcement ever could. Every wise individual carries a private truth, experiences that shape them but don't need an audience. Life leaves marks on everyone, moments of joy, pain, failure, and triumph that define who we are. These experiences are deeply personal, often too complex for others to fully understand. A wise person knows that sharing every detail does not add value to their journey. Instead, it can dilute the lessons learned and expose vulnerabilities unnecessarily. Private truths become a source of strength because they are owned fully and processed internally, without the influence of outside judgment or opinion. Keeping certain experiences private allows a person to reflect on them honestly, without the need for validation or explanation. It creates a space where learning happens in its purest form. When struggles, mistakes, or even victories are held within, they serve as teachers rather than performances. A wise individual understands that the impact of these experiences is internal. They shape character, strengthen resilience, and build empathy, even if no one else ever witnesses the process. The value of a private truth is not in how many people acknowledge it, but in how deeply it influences growth and decision-making. Sharing too much can lead to misinterpretation or unwanted advice that distracts from personal understanding. Some experiences are sacred, meant to be integrated into one's identity quietly. By holding them privately, a person maintains control over their narrative, choosing when, if ever, to reveal pieces of it. This discretion is not secrecy for secrecy's sake, it is intentional preservation of wisdom and perspective. Private truths also cultivate humility, reminding a person that their life's lessons are unique and need not be compared, justified, or performed for others. The wisdom gained through these personal experiences becomes a quiet but unshakable foundation, guiding choices, relationships, and actions with clarity and integrity. Silence becomes a shield, allowing a person to move quietly, gracefully, and purposefully. In a world filled with noise, opinions, and constant demands for attention, choosing silence is an act of strength and strategy. It protects the mind from unnecessary distractions, the heart from needless hurt, and the spirit from draining interactions. When a person embraces silence, they gain the ability to observe rather than react, to think before speaking, and to act with intention rather than impulse. This quietude cultivates a sense of control, allowing one to navigate life with clarity and precision. Moving quietly does not mean being invisible or timid, it means conserving energy, choosing actions that matter, and avoiding the chaos of constant chatter. A person who masters silence can assess situations fully, listen deeply, and respond with thoughtfulness that others often overlook. Grace emerges naturally from this restraint because there is no rush, no desperate need for recognition, and no distraction from purpose. Each movement, each word, each decision carries weight and meaning because it is chosen deliberately, not shouted into existence for approval. Purposeful living is the natural outcome of this discipline. Silence allows a person to focus on what truly matters, without the clutter of external noise clouding judgment. It builds patience, strengthens resilience, and sharpens intuition. By keeping certain thoughts and actions private, one avoids unnecessary conflict, maintains dignity, and nurtures inner strength. People who understand the power of silence often achieve more quietly, influence subtly, and command respect without demanding it. In this way, silence becomes more than absence of sound, it becomes a protective layer, a source of power, and a guide that directs every step with elegance, confidence, and unwavering purpose.